There was this trucker in northern Texas. He said he was driving New Year's night one night on this rural back highway, and he said it was completely dark. There wasn't another car in sight. And as he was making his way down this road, he noticed something up ahead in the middle of the road. So he slowed his truck down, and as he got a little bit closer, he said he could see this very young girl wearing a white gown, very long blonde hair, and she was barefoot. So he slowly made his way around her and he stopped his truck. And he said, he had a daughter around that age and he felt, I can't leave this girl out in the middle of nowhere. So he honks his horn, and after a couple minutes, he hears a knock on his passenger side window. He rolls it down, and there's that girl. He said he could see her better. She had this very long, flowing blonde hair, pale white face with freckles. And he said, "Look, I insist that you get in the truck and I give you a ride to the nearest town because I don't feel comfortable leaving you here alone out in the middle of nowhere." So she gets in the truck with him and he starts driving away. Well, he starts asking her questions, why are you out in the middle of nowhere? Why are you not wearing any shoes? Like, are you in some kind of danger? The girl doesn't say anything. The only thing she's doing is making these weird groaning sounds, like, and he said, that was a little weird, but I really didn't think much of it at the time. He said, all of a sudden, as they're driving, she points out in front of him and she says, 37. And he said, what's 37? What does that mean? She doesn't respond. She doesn't say anything. So he said at that point, he was kind of a little weirded out and it's like, I'm just going to make it to the nearest town as fast as possible. So as he continues on driving, he said all of a sudden, this girl got up from her seat and she crawls into the cab. And he was like, now she's somewhere in the cab. It's dark. I can't see her. Like, where did she go? So he starts yelling, like, you need to get back in the front of the truck or I'm going to, like, kick you out. Like, you need to get up here. She doesn't respond. And he said all of a sudden he sees her head kind of peek up between the two seats. And she just looks at him and starts smiling. And he said she started waving at him to come in the back into the cab. And he said, look, you need to get out of here right now. Like, come up to the front seat. He said all of a sudden she went back in the cab. And a couple minutes later, she started screaming. So he said, you know what? I've had enough of this. He slams on his brakes. He pulls the truck to the side of the road. And he gets out. Well, he's standing in front of his truck. He gets on the phone. He calls the police. They send a sheriff out. The sheriff, goes inside the truck. He checks the cab. He doesn't find anyone. And the trucker is like, what are you talking about? Like, there's a girl, she was in the cab. She's like crazy. Like, you need to get her out there. And the sheriff says to the trucker, like, I want you to go to the nearest rest stop, get some sleep, like, take a nap because you've been driving too long. So he listens to the sheriff. He goes to the nearest town. He finds a truck stop and he takes a nap. Well, after he wakes up, he gets out of the truck to go into the truck stop when all of a sudden he notices this plaque next to a field. So he walks over to this plaque and he starts reading it. And it says that at one time there was a small little village there and there were 37 residents. A cholera epidemic came through and all of them succumbed to this, epidemic or whatever. And he said the weirdest part, though, was when he looked down, there was a picture of some of the people in the town. There was that girl in the white dress.